Found cast-off pattern on the wall.
He occasionally would deflect a blow. That's how those cut marks came into the sofa, was a miss. And at some point during the attack, I believe the victim was able to push the suspect off. I believe that the suspect is the person who fell into the coffee table and broke the coffee table. And that also lines up to the location where we found the blood outline of the scissors. This would have given the victim a reprieve long enough to get off the couch and start making his way to the front door to escape. Based on the blood trails and the blood drops that were found on the floor in the dining room area, I believe that the victim was moving around, dripping straight down. Because of the cast-off on the wall that goes across the front door, the suspect grabbed him, slammed him to the floor, and the victim then stayed in that position for some time.
It is at this moment that the unusual second pool of blood, later found by the victim's feet, starts to form.
I believe the suspect thought he might have been unconscious or deceased at that point and was proceeding to commit the robbery. We noticed that the television set was missing, the VCR was missing, and then something occurred that initiated a second attack. He made a sound. The suspect realized he was not deceased. So at that point, he came back and started attacking him with the ligature, using the shoelaces to strangle him. The victim then rolled onto his back in the position that he was later discovered.
From Conley's recreation, Kazakos felt that he understood exactly what the victim's final moments of life had been like.
When Jim laid out the scenario for me, I was obviously very impressed with the detail, number one, of their investigation and his ability to reconstruct the scene.
Of course, before he left the scene, the murderer had covered the body, a fact that confirmed for Kazakos that the two men knew each other.
Why would you cover up the victim? You cover him up because you know him, and you don't want to look at him. So you cover him up.
Moving into the bathroom, the forensics team found a fingerprint on the toilet seat. Amazingly, the print matched a young man who lived in the same complex. Kazakos immediately went to question him.
I put his hands behind his back to search him, pat him down. And when I did that, I noticed on his hands he had some cuts in his inner fingers.
This is another advantage of investigating a crime very quickly, is that he had injuries on him. There was facial injuries, scratches that was noticed on his throat and his face. And in addition, he had lacerations on his fingers. Now, those cuts were consistent with using the scissors as a weapon, a stabbing tool, and he accidentally cut himself.
Four years later, at the Orange County Central Court, the suspect was brought to trial. Incredibly, he claimed self-defense, that on the night in question, it was he who was attacked. But Conley's blood evidence told the jury a different story.
If the victim's down on the ground, completely immobilized, not moving, and then the person comes back and commits a second attack, this completely defeats the defense of self-defense.
And only one stain was needed to convince the jury that the suspect could not have been under attack.
The most important blood stain was, in fact, that's why I remember the evidence number we gave it was number 32. This is the location where the victim was on the ground, stationary, for quite some time, and then moved from that location during the strangling. He was no longer a threat. He was down, and the suspect came back and attacked him again. So that it was very important blood stain for the court.
The most compelling evidence was the forensics evidence, the blood spatter, interpretation of the blood spatter.
And then they found him guilty of murder.
The killer is now serving 15 years to life at the Wasco State Prison in California.
Definitely, it was not someone we want in society. He was going to be a danger. And if we hadn't caught him then, he would have killed somebody else. I have no doubt.
Before Dexter, few people outside law enforcement knew what blood spatter analysis was. But seeing Dexter at work has helped us understand the value of this forensic skill to murder investigations everywhere. For in many cases, blood is not simply a grisly byproduct. It is the witness that helps solve the crime.